Okay, Sergio, your topic is how to be your brother's keeper. Tell me about that.
Well, it's something. It's a phrase that's used all the time in safety meetings. You have during the safety meeting, you always at the end, hey, don't be your brother's keeper. Be your brother's keeper. It's like a catchphrase, like Nike. Just do it. Be your brother's keeper.
Yes.
And I hear it all the time. I know what it means. But what about my son that just graduated high school, decided to work at Whataburger? Somebody's telling him to be his brother's keeper. Now, he's my son, so he knows what that means. But if it was someone else, okay, what do I do? We know brother, keeper, keep somebody safe. But how do they become that?
Ooh, that's so good.
It's like you have competent person. And from OSHA, somebody just don't become. You have to go through some training, certified. Hey, I'm going to bless you to be the competent person because you went through these processes. But as brother's keeper, you want me to be your brother's keeper. But how do I do that?
So why is that important to you? Why is that something that makes you want to come on and talk about this?
One is you use it everywhere. I mean, at home, rule number one at our house is stick together, right? Always stick together. So I got to teach them how to stick together.
How many kids do you have?
I have 7.
Oh my God, everybody.
So when you have 7,
hey now,
and you're traveling, you got to have two.
You got to have a buddy, and you got to hold hands in pairs. We don't want anybody to get lost.
Right. And I got to say what number 2 is, don't act a fool. So, that's another way. But always, teach them why it's important to watch over one another. It's not one's responsibility. Like for that guy to take care of himself, it's not my responsibility for him to take care of himself. But I do have it in me to show him that I'm going to take care of him or her. Good. And so that's what one of my presentations is going to be today. And it's a process. It's a phase. You don't just come in and tell somebody be your brother's keeper, but how?
Okay. Do you have steps? Do you have points? Like, what are the most important things about how to be your brother's keeper?
I have, as I've been doing this for a while, one thing I noticed is you have to care. One thing you got to care. You got to acknowledge that the person's in distress. Acknowledge that they're fighting. They're hurting something. You got to acknowledge that. For example, I was coming back from one of my nephew's college visits, and I see a vehicle on the side of the road, and I cared enough to acknowledge, man, poor guy. He's probably ran out of gas. And sure enough, 4 miles down the road, there he is with the fuel can. And good thing there was a gas station there, so I didn't feel too bad. But I acknowledged it. I cared enough to do that. But at that scene, I wasn't bold enough to get out of my zone to say, hey, you know what? Let me just pull over and help him.
Yes.
So you need to care. You need to be bold to not worry about what other people are saying. But that person's distressed. He's hurting. He needs some help. Then you got to have the courage to make it personal.
Ooh,
that's the tough one. Anybody could say, put your glasses on, but why? Why am I going to put my glasses on? I mean, that's just the rule. But the brother's keeper is going to tell you why to put your glasses on. Hey, don't you have a child to go home to? Don't you? You just told me he plays baseball or soccer. Wouldn't you want to see him? Oh, yeah, I'm the coach. Well, then the coach needs to see. So them alone would just, okay, that's the brother's keeper, not put your glasses on, but why? That's the personal parts for really the kicker.
Wow. It's almost like making it everyone's responsibility to help other people, right? It's like, right?
It is. Except we're people. Some are selfish. Some just think about themselves. Some don't care about anything. But those of us that do care, we got to really have some passion behind it and really stress to them why it's okay to care about people. Because I've even noticed I'm out in the field and I visit, we have some supervisors, their head gets a little big, and they're all about get to work. But hey, slow down. It's me you're talking to. Slow down. You got guys over here that are struggling, you don't know what goes on behind outside the gates.
Yes.
Maybe they're hurting. As a supervisor, you need to know those things. You need to acknowledge when an employee's coming in late. Man, he's never late. He's always here on time. Hey, man, what's wrong with you?
Yes.
You care, and then be bold to say, you know what? Come on, let's have a talk. And then you're making it personal too. So that way you gain that respect. And And the things is, when you do that, the employee knows that you're going to fight for them. Like in the Army. I was in the Army for a long time. And if I showed to my troops that I cared, they'll do anything for me. Same
So
thing
how
here.
do we, I think that there's a second part to that too, allowing some, like, okay, how do I say this? Allowing someone to keep you. I don't know how to say it, but like accepting that encouragement. Or if I don't have my glasses on and you come up to me and say, hey man, hey young lady, will you put your glasses on? There's a part of me that has to be humble enough to hear what you're saying and not get defensive,
right,
and not get my ego involved and say, oh, it's like, thank you, So there's a second part to it too, is the receiver.
Oh, I agree. There's Jocko Willink. He says to discipline your ego. So as I have to discipline my ego lots of times. I have employees or somebody just when they tell me that I'm in the wrong, I'm like, do you know who I am? But hey, hold on, slow down.
Yes.
I gotta accept that because the biggest one is the approach. When I come to the field, employees don't know me. I hate saying what my title is. I'm just, hey man, I'm just your safety guy coming here to visit. Sometimes the title seems, if guys know that, oh man, they're intimidated by it. But I'm just a human. So my biggest thing is the approach. I gotta allow them to drop that wall to allow them to trust me. So I don't go right off the back, give them orders. I give reasons why. I talk to them like people. I shake their hand. Hey, how are you? My name is such and such. How long you been here? And I don't even talk about the job that's going on yet. Hey man, so what do you do here? What kind of PPE you got to wear? Well, I wear this and that. Why do you have to wear all this extra gear doing all this? Well, because, give me all the reasons. And at that point, their ego's slowing down. They're starting to humble themselves.
You're vulnerable, and you're showing vulnerability, and you dropped your ego. So then they're allowed to drop theirs as well. But if you come with yours all up, then they're going to put theirs up as well. So it starts with you, and then allowing them to feel safe enough to drop theirs.
Yes.
Because we're all showing up, showing how,
who's this new guy here?
Yeah, I got to put my false vibrato up.
I'm a corporate guy coming to visit you. You need to just do what I tell you. Don't even ask me questions.
And that's tough because then that puts the person on defense.
And some guys, I'm a big guy. And there's some bigger guys. I look at them and say, man, I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I got to sit back, pray a little bit. God, give me some strength and allow me the right words to say to these guys. And it happens. I mean, they will, if they have complaints, they'll give me all the complaints. I listen. They just want somebody to listen. I listen. Okay, so what are we going to do about that? How do you feel about that? What can we do? And they have their own answers to their own questions. If I could just get them to do the same thing with the new employees coming in, take them under their wing, and it'd be so much easier for them. So much easier for them.
I love that you started with talking about this with your children because it's you're teaching them. I mean, you're running a business at your home with 7 children. Absolutely, it's your business, and I think that's so important that you're teaching them, and then they can go out in the world and teach other people because it's the safety industry, but it's everyone, right? We've got to be a helper, and because we're not always paying attention.
No.
And I think that's really, really wonderful. So how can people find you?
Well, as far as what
email, or if somebody wants you to come and do a presentation to them.
Yeah, I don't have anything but my email. It's Sergio Garcia at enais.com. I love talking to people. I'm a shy guy.
Clearly.
But whenever I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about, I am.
Okay.
My wife don't believe me either, but when I talk about something I'm passionate about, we'll have a straight conversation about whatever it is. If I'm passionate about it, but if I'm not, it takes some time. But I love to talk in front of. I love to motivate. Employees. I coach little league soccer. I do fitness classes, and when they don't want to do the classes, I for some reason I find a way to make it happen.
Good. Well, I'll put your contact information with it just in case somebody has more questions about the brother's keeper way. Good. And I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.